So this is one of those videos where I had a thought and I just felt like talking about it because it's cool to have a conversation with you guys, see what kind of response you have, what your thoughts are. But earlier today, after looking through my comments, I look through my comments on my channel all the time, respond to, comments that need to be responded to, make my presence known that I'm actually reading the comments type of thing. And something just struck me, and I see it all the time with plenty of my videos. It's mostly the videos that have to do with like reviews or taking a look at like a collection, a game that just came out, like, stuff like this, like Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, Samurai Showdown Collection, Super Mario 3D All Stars. I mean, that's one of the big ones as of late. SNK Anniversary Edition, the Mega Man collections, Genesis collection. Anytime I do a video talking about stuff like this, I always get very similar comments, and I'm not really arguing with these comments, but it got me thinking because the comments I'm referring to are the ones that are always like, "Hey, why would I buy that shit? I could just emulate it for free." And it got me thinking because, like I said, I see those kind of comments all the time. Me personally, I don't care how you play your games. I don't own any of these companies that make these games. I have no financial stake in the sales of any of these games. I just like to do videos on things that interest me, and compilations of retro games really interest me. But at the same time, you can't beat free, right? If you've been with my channel for a long time, you know I started the channel almost 100% based on emulation and getting builds set up and working with RetroPie and other things like that, trying to, revisit these games of years past and have a way to play them decently well. And emulation was one of the better ways to do it for a few reasons. The money behind it, like getting retro games for the retro consoles, not just the games, but getting the console, setting them up on a modern TV or getting a CRT, that kind of thing, could be a pricey endeavor. Now, there are certain systems I like having as far as retro old school stuff, and some physical media that I do like to have. I also have flashcards for all my systems, ODEs, that kind of thing. But in the end, yeah, you can't beat free. So I always find it funny when I see those kind of comments, because all throughout the history of me doing this channel, one of the biggest things that I've heard other people say, and I've probably said it too at certain points with, in regards to certain companies and the access that we had to their games, was like, screw you guys. We're going to emulate these games. We're going to download them, pop them on a Raspberry Pi or a PC, whatever the case may be, because you are not, as a business, as a company, giving us a reasonable way to have access to these games. Now, there's tons of different arguments you could have. Me, I'm the kind of person that, like I just said, I don't run any of these companies. I don't have any financial interest in any of them. But I'm the kind of person that I just don't give a shit. Like, I have my certain ways of thinking with specific things, and I've talked about that in the past, like with the Nintendo Switch as an example. Like, I'm not going to hack my Nintendo Switch and add these games. I'm not going to do anything like that. Now, have I hacked systems in the past? Yes, I have, and yes, I continue to do so, but I will only do so, like, I'm not talking about like the Xbox Series X, Series S, where you can like go into dev mode or use the browser and emulate games. That's not hacking, in my opinion. I mean, like, hacking the system to play the system's native games. I won't do that on the Switch, not with a video game system that's currently available on the market and their games still being developed for it. I don't do that. If you do that, that's cool. That's on you. I just don't care what other people do. I care about what I do, type of thing. But then on to another argument that I've seen, but very rarely. I only see it from a select few people, like extreme enthusiasts type of thing, where when it comes to retro games, they say you have no right to play these games by downloading them and emulating them. If you really want to play them, to have the right to play them, you need to go out and buy the original console and the original media, and then you can play it. I say, fair enough that you think that way, but then at the same time, I have no issue downloading those games and playing them via emulation, because if I buy an overpriced cartridge from somebody off of eBay, OfferUp, your mom's house in the backyard somewhere, those companies aren't benefiting from that any which way, at all. Like, they're not getting anything from it. It's just that secondary sale there. So yeah, some people like having the original media. I do, to a certain extent, to a very small degree. I've kind of thinned my collection out quite a bit as I was always kind of mellow with it, uh, very reserved with what I would buy. But then at some point, it was like, why do I want all this crap lying around on my shelf? I'll never play half of it. It's just there to sit there, and I don't want to, like, oh, look at the games that I got that I'll never fucking play, type of thing, when I could just have them on a little tiny box and play it that way, right? So there's tons of different arguments out there, man. Like, if you're a collector, more power to you. Whatever your reasons are for collecting, that is cool. But as far as what I'm talking about with like compilations and stuff like this, and the people saying, hey, why give money out, to these companies? I'm not defending any of these companies. I'm not defending the people who say that either. My stance is, when it comes to compilations, it's a case by case freaking basis, right? A very case by case basis, because I love the idea of having some of this stuff in a physical form on a new cartridge for the Nintendo Switch or on a disc for the PlayStation or Xbox. I love that. But at the same time, some of these companies, I mean, they're all businesses. They're out there to make money, and they don't care one way or another. They just want to suck up all those dollars from all of us. And I understand that to a certain degree, because I'm a business person myself and have been for a long time. But then you also have to look at it from the customer's point of view. Is that product going to be successful based off of nostalgia alone? Or is it going to be based off of it's an actual quality product? Any of these companies can slap ROMs onto a cartridge or as DLC, a download thing, digital form. Any company can do that and half-ass it, and maybe some people will buy it, It's, to me, with the case-by-case thing, where I'm really like, when I buy a game that's a collection, a compilation of retro games, where I'm happy that I bought it, is when there's actual love behind it. Like, you see that the company really cared about the franchises, the games, whatever, the properties that they included on those, compilations. They added extras. They shined it up. They made sure the emulation was 100%. They put like little extra features, boss rush modes, that kind of thing, additional content. They threw in like, manuals you could look at. Like, I mean, that's kind of a small thing, but you know what I'm saying? If they really like go overboard with it, add online modes, that kind of stuff. If the presentation is good and the value is there, then I will see it and I'll be happy to buy it. Other people may still be on the fence on that and be like, well, I don't need those features. I just want to play the fucking game. More power to you. Then download it and play it that way, because you weren't going to buy the cartridge anyway. You know what I mean? You weren't going to buy the compilation anyway, type of thing. In the end, I just don't want people to get it twisted, especially people who are newer around my channel anyway. I have absolutely nothing against emulation. I like to cover as many different options to play as possible to give people a better idea of what's available and what's included or how certain things work. Like, that's all I do. I started the channel with just emulation. I'm sure, some of the people, I do get comments every great once in a while, like, why are you so against emulation? This and this and that. And it's like, you just got to go back through my videos. I mean, some of you guys might be like, why would somebody even say that? They seen all the videos you did on the PlayStation Classic and the Auto Bleem builds and the RetroPie builds and tutorials and all that stuff. I mean, I still do some of that content just when it's actually like makes sense to do. Like, there's not nonstop emulation videos I can do. And it kind of is dictated also with my channel in particular, what people are going to watch. Like, I've done certain videos where I thought, oh, this is going to do well, and it tanks, type of thing. So I'm always experimenting, always trying to provide some kind of value, be it with actual retail products that are out there or with other ways to go about certain things. There's no right or wrong answers with any of these games. Like I said, for me, I justify buying these types of things depending on the value that's behind it. And a lot of people like playing stuff like this on the Switch, and maybe they think the same as me. Sure, I could hack my Switch, add emulators, do this, whatever, but they don't want to do that at this time. That's where I'm kind of at. Eventually I will, but right now is not the time for me to do that. So when a collection comes out that I'm interested in, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to report on it, that kind of stuff. But yeah, the whole conversation of, you can't beat free, 100% true. And I've got nothing against it. I mean, if you don't see the value in something and it's like specifically what we're talking about, retro game compilations. If you don't see the value in it and you already have those games loaded up on a flash cart, you already have them on your PC, your Raspberry Pi, your mom's Vibe, however you play those games, that's cool, man. Like I'm not going out against anybody. Like I said, it's just however you play, enjoy those games. Me personally, the value wise thing with it, you know, I've explained that. For me, like the stuff that Nintendo does, which it's kind of a very mixed bag. Like this Switch Online, you know, crap with the Super Nintendo and NES stuff. There's some value behind that with like the online multiplayer and whatnot. But since I don't actually get to keep it, I don't care about it as much. I very rarely play any of these games, man, because I have access to them, in my opinion, in other ways that are better for me. If I owned this, if I had a cartridge that had all these games on it, I would be like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, I'm down in it, but I don't own any of this. It's just, it's rented to me for as long as I pay my Switch Online membership, right? So I don't put value on stuff like this. Some people may see the value in it as an added bonus, and I understand that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, that's where it's at. No right or wrong answers. Play however you want. I'm not against anybody. Like, if I talk about a game that's on a cartridge that's compilation of retro games and I really enjoy it, and you think it's a joke, you think it's not worth the money because you could play it another way, that's fine. Like, I don't disregard those, you know, ways of thinking because I think the same way, but in a specific manner. If there's no value there, then yeah, why the fuck am I going to give somebody money for a half-assed effort? You know what I mean? There's got to be some effort behind it, extra modes, polish on it, and then I could justify it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. This was just kind of a off the cuff, as the ladies like to say, type of video. Just stuff right off of my brain, just talking. I don't know if any of it made sense. I'll have to look at this video after I upload it. Because sometimes, man, you might have seen, like I stopped talking and then like there's a cut and then the time changed because I started going off track on things. I do that. I rant and ramble. It's just who I am. Some people don't like it. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm not going to change who I am. This is just that kind of video. But yeah, I had to keep cutting because I was like, wait, what was I talking about? And then I had to watch like the last minute of the video and it'd be like, oh, okay, let me get back to it type of thing. But yeah, that rant and rambling video. Let me know your thoughts down below so we can conversate. Really do appreciate every single one of you mofos. And with that said, I'll catch you on the next one. Big ass blurry thumb butt like a Bigfoot. Bye.